For those of you who don't know, monkey branching is basically when a monkey swings from one branch and holds onto that branch till it reaches the next branch. In other words, if you're seeing a woman, it probably indicates that she's preparing to replace you. I'm going to go into great detail on why women look for replacements and how to spot and identify whether your woman might be doing this. Please note that this knowledge will last and benefit you for a lifetime. It's very important for you to learn this in order to avoid being burned, heartbroken, cheated on, and dumped. Okay, there are 3 categories. If a lady is monkey branching, the first category is if she emasculates you. The second is a continuous affirmation, which is what she is really seeking. And the third is her increasing tendency to argue. These are the only 3 categories, and if you can master them, you'll be in a rock-solid position. Number 1. Emasculation. Let's start with the first one and examine what is meant by emasculation. This basically indicates that she is challenging your leadership. She no longer believes that she should be following your lead, which is what I mean when I say she's stripping you of your balls. In the end, she doesn't even think she ought to respect you. So what exactly is happening to men? Well, when a lady doesn't follow your lead, that's when you need to have a goal, a mission, or a set of ground rules for the relationship. Perhaps this is the setting in which both of you are communicating. And she's so aloof, right? She no longer necessarily fits that mold. She's suddenly following her own path. She is acting independently. This is the first red flag. So when your woman isn't following your lead, this means the attraction she had for you is decreasing by the minute. As she gets less submissive, she's essentially going to emasculate you over a period of time. Then, she's also going to make you feel that you're not competent enough. And it's easy to see this in the daily life experiences all couples share, such as installing a new fridge at home, assembling a new kitchen shelf, or looking for directions to a new restaurant. In all of these, the woman will try to steer the conversation toward her own opinion and will take the instruction manual from the man and then attempt to give him the directions to assemble the shelf or the way to the new restaurant. If she wants to make you feel incompetent, she may say things like, "Let me do it," "Don't worry about it," or "I'll take care of all this." In other words, she is saying, "Hey, I don't believe you're man enough to accomplish X, Y, Z," or "I don't think you're smart enough, and so I'll just take care of it for you." In the relationship, I'll be the one who puts on the pants. I'll also be the man in this circumstance. Keep in mind that while you'll notice these things, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything wrong. After you have passed these warning flags and perhaps a few tests, the next step is criticism. Criticism to the extent that you begin to believe you are powerless. It's when a woman is trying to make you feel helpless. In the end, you will observe guys who would alter who they are in order to conform to the idea of what they believed she wanted him to be. In the end, her attraction will decline as a result of his actions, as he begins to bend his boundaries and act in that manner. She will then begin to contrast you with other men and slash or refuse to have intercourse with you. And what this ultimately accomplishes is that it disturbs a man's mental equilibrium. A complete loss of respect has occurred if any of this is taking place. Considering what we know about women, it stands to reason that a woman cannot and will not love you if she does not respect you. We do know that men and women view love quite differently. Therefore, a woman's perception of love ultimately depends on how alpha you are, how strong, authoritative, and well-mannered you are. Finally, if you project that attitude, you'll gain a lot of respect. She can only totally trust your direction if you're in your male position, since only then can she fully love you, fully submit to you, and fully embody femininity. So what should you do if you notice this beginning to occur? Instead of threatening to end the relationship, you really do so. You tell her, "Hey, I'm not going to stand for this because of your attitude. This relationship isn't working." That is the first category, and if you can begin to grasp it, you are well ahead of almost everyone else. Number 2. Affirmations. The second thing to watch out for is when she starts looking for fresh affirmation or validation from you and other men. Photos that look like she is unmarried or that are scandalous and slash or promote her body can serve as new forms of affirmation. When you're not with her, this attitude will be quite alluring. In the end, she might be looking for a bigger, better choice. This is the biggest one you have to work for. Excuse me, you have to look for if she is ultimately buying new clothes, getting new hair, getting her hair done differently, if she looks drastically different, and if her attitude is consistently flirtatious with everyone else but you, she is on the way out. Long girls' nights out without telling you, following new men on social media, or vague physical changes, this is the biggest one you have to work for. You probably failed too many dump tests and lost your masculine frame too frequently. The main reason I frequently observe this happening is that the man begins to shape himself into the person he believes she wants him to be. This tends to be the case for a person who wasn't necessarily going to commit at first, but later did. And what you'll witness is a slow death by 1,000 wounds. When you see any of these behaviors, you need to set the tone by telling the person, listen, if you're going to be with me, you're not going to act like this. Do you understand? If she refuses, if she dons her big girl pants and asserts that she is free to do whatever she pleases, or if she starts to press those buttons, what you're going to do is this. You're going to end the relationship once more. Number 3. Tendency to argue. The final component is arguing with you. If a woman is confrontational with you, she's actually trying to outwit you by giving you linguistic frames of power, to give the impression that your agenda is the reason why every discourse is difficult to connect. I'll give you an example of what women will say. She'll say things like, hey, you're attempting to change me, even though you're not. They'll attempt to make it seem like you're gone too far. The second thing is that she'll say this line repeatedly, that you don't love her. You simply adore the notion of her, or you simply want to possess and dominate her. Don't fall for it. These are things you'll hear from women who start to perceive you as a lesser beta male. The next is a voice tone that conveys perpetually nagging. In other words, she doesn't believe you have the guts to dump her. Because of this, she does not believe that you are man enough to be with her, or that you have the courage to disagree with her. So these are the telltale signs that you're dating or in a relationship with someone whose second nature is monkey branching. These are the types of women who will always have backups and will never leave one guy without assuring that they have another one lined up. And with backups, their whole mindset shifts from giving it their all in a relationship to giving it their half, because they think there's always going to be a better guy waiting for them around the corner. This severely impacts the quality of connection they can make with their partner in a relationship, and continues until they keep believing this. And so, hypergamy enables women to sort of get into this cycle of monkey branching for a very long period of time. It erodes the value of relationships for them. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.